Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back inside the Build Barn. My name is Matt, and I know that it's been a while since my last video. I am very sorry. We are back, however, sometimes life just gets in the way and you have to put things on hold, but we are back. Now, I know a lot of you guys are here for the 240Z 350 swap. We are waiting on one last thing to show up, and hopefully in the next video, I'll be able to button everything up and get her firing. So yesterday I picked up the FD from Japan Legends, a specialty rotary shop not far from here. They did an amazing job. Shout out to you guys. It fires effortlessly. It's beautiful. I can't wait to drive it, but now it is wide body o'clock. So we're gonna roll it out of the trailer, bring it into the garage, and I'm gonna give you guys some tips and tricks at the end so that you don't make the same mistakes that I made, especially on this one, which was my first one. Check out those seats, by the way. Aren't those fire? Now it is very loud at the moment because there is a downpipe, but there is no exhaust. But we should be able to fix that today because the welder's coming. Now, it's pretty hard to hear me outside because, as you can see, there is a downpipe behind there, but no exhaust attached to it. So the welder should show up here a little bit later this afternoon, and he's gonna do what he has to do to button all that up. And also this charge pipe going to the engine needs to be fabricated because the one that they sent didn't really fit. So those are the only two things missing, but we have a functioning two rotor. I did manage to test fit this front fender. It is a wide body fender, and if you can see, it actually fits very flush with the wheel. So that fitment is insane, love it. The only thing is this gap here with the door is not ideal at all. I think it actually, when you open the door, it does rub right here. So we'll end up shaving a little bit of that off to clean it up, but it looks all right. Now this would be my, let me just think real quickly, fourth Pandem kit that I install, and each of them kind of fit a little differently. This one, you can clearly see that the side skirt needs to go on first because this rear fender here is going to sit on the side skirt. It's obviously, it has to come flush with the original side skirt. So we are going to put that right there, and we should be able to mess around with the back there to get it as close as we can to the door gap. Now, I did look at a bunch of pictures online and stuff like that, and that door gap you see on the bottom does not completely disappear. So there is a little dip here that you can see that's visible. There's no way to put the side skirt. I mean, you can see that it's almost touching there, and there's a larger gap here. So it's not gonna fit perfectly, but none of these kits ever do. Nevertheless, it's gonna look amazing. So we're gonna try and throw on that side skirt real quick and see what happens. Beautiful. I was a little worried that I wasn't going to be able to get the riv nut all the way in, but there's loads of clearance behind there, so it should be all good. So these riv nuts here are what we're going to use to fasten the side skirts and the rear fenders onto the car. So if you put them on the tool here and you squeeze, it'll actually shrink this down to where it'll be able to grab in the metal. So first one, and make sure it's on there nice and tight. Twist it off. Bam, just like that. And I I dare say that is exactly where I wanted it. So we're off to a fantastic start. With this one in place now, I think I'll tighten it down a little more and I'll be able to see exactly where I want this back piece also. All right, so now we got the side skirt kind of fitted to, I think, exactly where it's gonna go. Like I said earlier, this little gap down here at the door, it is still gonna be a little visible. That's just how the kit is. Now, before I go drilling into this one, I do wanna make sure that I'll be able to get this rear piece somewhat aligned with the door, or else I might have to move this a little bit so that this doesn't look weird. But we should be pretty close. Say that goes down there. That's gonna be very close to being perfect. Now we move on to the lovely rear panel. Now this one here, I want to make sure that the gap under the door is perfect and that this gap here lines up. The fenders are in fact on top of each other, and that is looking very, very dead on. Make a little pilot hole there. How good of a fit is that? That is absolutely spot on. Love it. Now, this is where some people go wrong. And by some people, I mean me, the first time when I did that one. So the easiest way to go about this, some people will go all around like this and put one rivet at a time. I find that once you get that point set, you want to go directly to the rear here. Now, you want to make sure that this is snug on the side here, and I'm actually going to drill this one as a second hole to make sure that this whole thing, that whole back end is exactly where I want it. Because these are all very easy to do afterwards. I'm gonna do this one, then I'll probably do one up here, and then I'll go around and do the other ones. But this is the most important one. You wanna get both corners before you even start messing with anything up there. So now that the car has the rear fenders and side skirt on, it is a very crucial moment. It's time to fit the wheels, or measure the wheels, I should say, which is always one of the trickiest parts about these builds, to get the fitment just right. As you can see here, we are going to need to pop these wheels out quite a bit. One of the easiest ways I find to do this, to get the accurate measurement, is you tie a string to a bolt and you put it on the widest part of the fender, and now you know exactly where to measure, or where your rim should end up to have a flush fitment. Now, when I bought these BBS wheels, I did know that these faces and barrels are interchangeable. So I absolutely love, love, love the look of these wheels. We're gonna keep these wheels. We're just gonna get new barrels for them to stick them out a lot more. And if you don't have three-piece wheels like these that are interchangeable, I'm gonna show you a little tool that I bought for, I think it was $20, that is a absolute game changer and lifesaver. Now, I know that these wheels are BBS LM 086s, so I measured them, and behind the face here, I have 7 inches, and in front, I have 3, which makes it a 10-inch wheel, which is exactly what was online. So I know that if I go with a 7-inch barrel in the back, everything will clear because all of this works. And if I put the tape right to the face here, to the string, I have about 5.5 inches. So really, the most I'd want to go is 5 inches. Ideally, you always want to go less than more because you can always put a spacer in the back to get that flush fitment that you want. However, if you're outside a little bit, there's no real way to fix that. So always go a little bit more inside and you can work your way out should you want to, because it is impossible to work your way back in once your wheel is sticking too far out. So I think for this, if it's 5.5, I'll have to check online what's available, but I do believe there is a 4.75 outer lip that would be perfect. And then I could either get the 7 or the 6-inch lip on the inner barrel, and everything should fit pretty spot on. Now, if you don't have 3-piece wheels that you can disassemble like this, you can order this bit of technology. So this is a wheel fitment tool that I got on, I don't remember what website it was, but I think it was 20 bucks. So this lets you put, I want an 18-inch wheel and I want a 11-inch wide wheel, and you can stick it, bear with me here, you can see that if you slide this bit out to where the string finishes, just about there, it'll actually tell you that for an 18-inch wheel that's 11 inches wide, you are going to need, I don't think you guys will be able to see up there, but you will need a -50 offset, which is probably very close to being true, because I did yesterday fit the super wheels onto the RX7 just to test out if we were kind of in the ballpark, and I think those are offset by -25, and there was about 25 mil missing to push them out. So that tool, I've used it multiple times, is always pretty close. Now, like I said before, if it says -50, I would probably order a -40 and bump it out with a spacer just to make sure that the wheel is not sticking out. Because as I said before, you can fix it sticking inwards by pushing it outwards, but you can't push it back inwards. Now, tips and tricks. Each kit you're gonna fit is gonna fit differently. One piece is gonna go on, obviously, before the other ones. It's hard to tell unless you have the kit right in front of you. Obviously, this one, it is easier to put the side skirt on because it does need to line up exactly with the front fender there to go behind here, and then you're able to line up the back fender. It's always easier to put the bottom piece on first, because then when I'm fitting this one, I can tuck it in right onto the side skirt, right where it needs to be, and then tape it, and I know that that fender is in the exact spot it needs to be to drill that first hole. If you put this one, the top fender on first, sometimes we'll go to fit the side skirt and there'll be just a little tiny gap that's not really visible to the naked eye if you don't know what's there. But when you put the kit on, you will see it, and every time you walk up to the car, you will see that gap, and it will be, it might drive you crazy. Also, when you're installing these, you don't want to over tighten them. I'll show you what I mean. When you screw this on, I'm gonna ruin one of these just for you guys. So when you screw this on, you'll see that it crimps on this level right here. Now this is as much as you want to crimp it. Some people will do this, they'll tighten it a little bit again, and then they'll try to snug it up even more. When you do this, half the time it will pull it slightly crooked, so that when you go to install your bolt onto the car, instead of putting it directly in this way, it wants to go in this way. So do not over tighten these. Now, the biggest tip I can give you guys is take your time. The first time when I did the 240Z was my first Pandem Widebody kit. I must have measured everything 20 times. I had little dots to where I thought all the bolt holes were gonna go on the first time. I was very scared, very nervous to drill that first hole, thinking that it would be a complete disaster, but it worked. If you measure a bunch of times and you are confident, go one hole at a time and it will eventually all work out, but take your time. And one thing quickly that I wanted to tell you guys, when you are putting all of these screws in, don't use a drill. Be very delicate. Those rivets aren't meant to take a lot of pressure. If you do over tighten them, the rivets will spin and then you'll have to drill them out and it's not fun. So hand tighten them. You can use a very low torque drill to take them out. However, I just prefer doing it by hand in case something goes wrong, but do not over torque those bolts because the rivets will spin. Now, putting the fenders on is the easy part. What comes after is a little bit more tricky because we are gonna have to cut this entire fender liner so that it fits. So all of this here is going to be cut pretty close to the inside of this fender here. I like to leave about an inch, so what I'll do is I'll put masking tape, 1-inch masking tape along every bolt, and that way that'll give me kind of the line that I want to cut when I take the fender off. Obviously you don't want to cut all the way into here. You want to leave some of that out, so usually what I'll do is I'll go about to here with the 1-inch line, and then I'll kind of gradually drop it off so that it finishes somewhere near here. Now, we are not going to do that today. Like I said earlier in the video, my welder is coming to check on the car to see what he needs to do. So I will actually mark this line, and then we're going to figure out together with him, who's done a bunch of these, what the best options are. Every car differs a little bit. I'm not sure if you can see, but this is kind of what it looks like on the 240Z. So up here, it's hard to tell, but this is all welded one piece. So the fender came to about probably close to here, so we did take off quite a bit, and then you just kind of cut slits in the metal, bend it up, weld it, and then you cut the rest off. So it's not a big job, but you do need a welder who knows what he's doing so he doesn't mess up your entire car. So I think I'm gonna leave you guys on that for today. The welder's coming later. He's gonna be, I think next week, he said he's gonna be able to jump on the project, so I'll film that whole process for you guys and show you exactly what goes into bending those fenders and stuff. He's gonna run the exhaust all the way back, and he already has the charge pipe that he has to modify, so hopefully when he comes back today, he'll have that piece. We'll be able to throw it on. And yeah, very excited to see this thing on the road now that I see it with the fenders, and it's nice to see the pictures in your head kind of come to life. That's what I really enjoy. So thank you very much for sticking around, guys. I know there was a big gap between this upload and my last one. I will try to get the next video out as soon as possible, but I got a lot of stuff going on in my life right now, and unfortunately YouTube is not the only thing on my plate. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and we will catch you in the next one.